This is Carson Ellers from the Boston Celtics, and you're listening to the Boiler Breakdown podcast hosted by Tanner Lee, Evan Webb, and Andrew Eiler.
What's up, Boiler Nation? Welcome back to another edition of the Boiler Breakdown podcast. It's Monday night, November 2nd. The Boilers are coming off a big win over the Illinois Fighting Illini. The cannon comes home back where it belongs. The Boilers are 2-0 for the first time since 2007. 2-0 in the Big Ten for the first time since 2010. A lot of accomplishments happening that haven't happened in a long time. But I'm here with Andrew Eiler and Evan Webb like I am every week. Fellas, what's up?
Good to be 2-0.
Yep.
Darn right it is.
Hoping for more football.
Darn right. Yeah. Yes. Fingers crossed that our boys will be making the trip to Madison this weekend. A foe that has been a thorn in the side of the Boilermakers since 2003 and really hasn't even been that close except the triple overtime loss 2 years ago at Ross-Ade. But we'll find out tomorrow if that game's going to happen or not. Wisconsin's team's been hit by COVID pretty heavily. I think the last time I knew there's at least 12 players. So even if they are able to field a team, we don't know what it's going to look like.
Right.
We do know they'll be down to their fourth-string quarterback.
Which Purdue does not have a great track record with backup quarterbacks.
Ever.
No.
This year, last year, Rose Bowl year.
Well, I think we were starting out all right. I think the problem is when it's a surprise because at least we knew who was going to be the quarterback for Illinois. But then it was when they took him out after the first drive that they were like, well, there it is.
Once Robinson got hurt.
Did he get hurt? Because
the
radio never said it. It's like, oh,
I just thought he pulled him because he sucked.
First series, they took him out, and then they showed him the second quarter getting taken to the locker room. I don't know what he did.
Oh, I did see that. I guess I didn't realize
he was a pocket passer. He was not a scrambler. The guy they brought in after, way better than he was, I thought. I thought that guy was equal part of Brandon Peters.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I think Isaiah Williams is the most talented guy they got, the backup quarterback. But Peters and Williams were out due to COVID and contact tracing. As were a lot of Illinois players. Their kicker, who a lot of people laugh at their kicker. The kicker's actually really good. He's maybe the best in the Big Ten.
Was he an All-American, or was that? No, that was the. I'm thinking of Iowa. I think.
Yeah. Duncan Keith at Iowa. He's a good kicker. So, but hey, I will take a win no matter how we got it. But like you said, Evan, I think the defense kind of. And we'll get into it. They kind of struggled once we got up 21 points, kind of let off the gas.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what were your feelings going into the game Saturday?
Really good, given the fact that half their team was gone. I felt good. I mean, they struggled last week. Granted, it was against Wisconsin, and just they got absolutely blitzed by Mertz, who is also out with COVID. But yeah, I thought, what was the line, like 12 going into the game?
Did they get that high? It started at 4.5, and I think got clipped to 9.
Yeah,
okay. I was thinking at least going into the game. I was thinking at least a 2-touchdown win, probably easily, especially after the defense really stepped up the first drive. I thought we're gonna have a pretty good day, but.
And how easily that Purdue scored on that first drive.
Yeah. Really the first two drives, their drive and our drive. No. And honestly, again, as we saw as it went on, a lot of parallels to the Nevada game of last year, whereas, Purdue just marched down the field and scored no problem and got out to a nice lead. And then thankfully it didn't end the way the Nevada game ended.
I was having flashbacks.
Yeah. I think we were texting during the game of Nebraska-esque. Was it Brahms' first year?
Yep.
Is that what you're saying, Dan? And then after we kept going, I was like, man, this is a lot like Nevada. And I don't like it. Yep.
It's this would have been a historically bad loss.
Yes.
Just given the circumstances. Credit Lovey and the coaching staff for getting their guys up and ready to play, because that's a lot of adversity. And all college programs are going to face, maybe not that many players, but they're going to face impacts by COVID, whether it's staff related or player related, week to week. And it's how you can adjust and prepare, and it comes down to coaching really at the end of the day. So, but it's glad that Cannon is back home. where it belongs because and you knew Braum was going to have everybody fired up and ready to go. I mean, in his presser last Monday, he brought up how Illinois manhandled us like 3 or 4 different times. So he knew he was going to be in the guys' ears all week long.
Yeah.
So
just glad it wasn't raining.
Yeah, no kidding. It was about as nice weather you could ask for October 31st. That's for sure. But how do you guys think AOC, Aiden O'Connell, played?
He was nearly perfect. Didn't he hit his first 14 passes?
Yeah, he had 1 incompletion at halftime.
Yeah.
So I think even after the game, it's like what Illinois has only forced
7
incompletions on the year.
They started out 35 of 36 or something like that, opposing teams against them. Yeah.
He was 29 for 35 for 376 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
That's the big key.
And he only had 1 ball.
Good.
It was his only incompletion of the first half. He threw it in a triple coverage one time when he should have just thrown it away. I don't know what he was thinking there. But besides that play, I thought he was awesome. I thought he played very well. I love the way he throws a deep ball. And I know these wide receivers as a group are so talented. They can make any quarterback look good most of the time. But he's impressing me, man.
Yeah. I wish he could scramble a bit more just when the pocket kind of collapses, which is obviously where Plummer gets the nod. But, I mean, you're going to have that. I mean, so it's
I would say, I don't know if I mentioned this after Iowa, I was kind of thinking, yes, O'Connell looks, I think he probably appears to be the best thrower, best passer.
Mm-hmm.
Does that speak to the confidence that Braum and the rest of the coaching staff have in the line to be improving, that they can actually give him time, that they're not afraid of him having to be running for his life because the line's going to cave after a second?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it helps, too, to have depth at the line for the first time in years, even though
a couple injuries
we're starting to see linemen fall. Sam Garvin got hurt.
Cam Craig didn't play.
And Cam Craig was already out. So Gus Hartwig had to come in, second game of his freshman year. Third snap on, and I thought he played really well. That's a tough – center is such a tough position. I don't think a lot of people understand what all goes into it. I mean, you're
giving out assignments.
You're calling out coverages and looks and different things, making switches and adjustments and slides and all types of things. It's just a ton going into it. And so for a true freshman to come in his second career game from third snap on, that's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So – but no, I thought AOC looked good. I thought Horvath. I mean, this is 3 games in a row with 100 yards or more. First back to do that since another guy who wore number 40, Mike Allstott.
Really?
Yeah.
We haven't had a 100-yard rusher in 3 straight games.
Nope.
Since Allstott.
Nope.
Wow.
A lot of times we have backs.
We had multiple running backs. Yeah.
On Horvath had 22 rushes for 100 yards right on the dot, 1 touchdown. His longest run was 35 yards. And Jeff Braum thought he ran a lot better this week of just north to south and not doing the spin moves. He said he thought he had too many spins in the first game. And I loved being a Denver Bronco fan. I love that Jeff Braum brought up when he was with the Broncos, line coach Alex Gibbs taught the 1-cut rule. So he said they kind of use that at Purdue. You get 1 cut and go. That's how the running backs are supposed to run.
Yeah.
And sometimes out of Horvath, we see a little more than just 1 cut. But
probably because he was able to do that in high school where he just bigger than everybody, just could roll off everybody, if not just blow right through him. But
he's
got a habit to get kick.
He's a beast, man. He's fun to watch. He's athletic. He's faster than you think he is.
Yeah.
Did have 2 fumbles, even though, like you mentioned, Evan, it should have really just been 1 fumble.
Mm-hmm.
But he's when King Doru, which is hopefully this week if there is a game, hopefully he's ready to go. Is he number 2 back now? I don't know how he can't be.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, if you keep feeding him until it doesn't work.
King's going to get some carries, but I think Horvath is going to get the lion's share. I mean, unless he keeps fumbling, but
yeah, which is a great problem to have. I mean, 2 solid running backs like that with good amount of experience. But I thought it really showed a lot when he had those 2 fumbles and the coaches didn't put Hewitt in or anybody else to carry the ball. They stuck with him, even though they panned over to him on the sidelines. He had a ball cradled in his arm the whole entire time he was on the sidelines. I think that was a little Coach Barkley telling him to do that. But
do you think it's also maybe an indictment on Hewitt? Maybe just don't think he's where he needs to be because he got hurt last year, right? Because he didn't play much at all.
And I think Brom even mentioned today that he got hurt in practice or even over the summer or fall, so that he's not like fully up to speed.
He's not where he should be.
In Tyreek Murphy Jr., we don't know his status really. So
no.
Receiving wise, David Bell. What more can we say about the guy? I mean, 9 catches, 122 yards, a touchdown, the game sealing catch, one-handed. He catches everything around him. He's smooth. Yep. I know I compared him to Jerry Rice a little bit. I also want to throw another comparison. How about a Marvin Harrison comparison?
Yeah.
Just silent, kind of just smooth and does all the right things. And, man, he's a good football player. How did this guy not win Mr. Football? Nothing against Jack Kaiser. He was fantastic at Pioneer, but this dude balled out for Warren Central against the best competition every Friday night. And now he's doing it every week in, week out against Big Ten foes. I mean, there's 5 straight 100-plus yards receiving. First Purdue wide receiver ever to do that in history to school. And you're talking about a school that has great passing tradition.
How many touchdowns in a row has he had? So, he had 3 against Iowa, 1 this week. I'm assuming against IU when Purdue scored 40 points, he had a couple touchdowns, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't think it's 5 straight games, but it might be 4. Yeah. I don't know if he scored one against Wisconsin last year.
Had some stats.
Or not. Great comment here by Christopher. He catches everything but COVID. Knock on wood there.
God.
Knock on wood there. Follows it up with a thank God comment. So that is a good one.
That's good.
Very true. He's just a good football player. I mean, I know we're still missing number 4 out there, Rondell Moore, which Jeff Brom in his press conference today was kind of a new week, same story. He said something along the lines of, when I don't want to misquote it. It was something he didn't say like if Rondell returns. It was more like
when
we'll be happy to have him when he's back or something.
So that kind of was positive, but I even watched the press conference when it was on YouTube later on Golden Black YouTube just to see how he said it with his facial expressions. So
go back to work, Tanner. Jeez.
It was my lunch break.
Okay.
I'm going back to our conversation. David Bell has that.
He had
the last 5.
I found that
last
too.
5, yeah, because he had 1 in Indiana and 1 against Wisconsin last year.
Gosh, look at this! Look at the catches: 14, 12, 9.
He also that's 6 because he probably had 1 in Northwestern game too. Go back another one to Nebraska.
No, he didn't. It's only 5.
He had one against.
It went Northwestern. Did he not play? Did we have a bye in between Northwestern and Wisconsin? I'm looking at.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so it says Nebraska. He did not have a touchdown.
Nope.
Oh, he had a. Never mind. He had a rushing.
Running. Remember the like what was
you
it?
Count that
Liberty play, kind of.
Yeah.
Or just the reverse. It was just a reverse to him, I think. Yeah.
Because Wisconsin, that wasn't Milton, right? Threw to him.
Yeah.
Was that against Wisconsin? Yeah.
So he had 3 receiving touchdowns to end last year, plus 2 now this year. So that's 5 receiving, but he did have a touchdown rushing against Nebraska, but no receiving. So if you count that one, he's had a touchdown in 6 straight games.
I think he's going to continue it.
Yeah.
Going forward. So
I mean, when O'Connell throws it to him 15 times a game.
Yeah, Milton Wright, another solid game. 6 catches, 100 receiving yards, and a touchdown. He got everything that was around him. Took another big pop. The aide needs to stop missing him high because he got 2 shots to the ribs 2 weeks in a row. But
it's a big body to throw.
He's becoming a threat for Purdue. He's getting better and better right before our eyes. Payne Durham, 4 catches for 52 yards. You can tell Aiden really likes throwing to him. He reminds me of a young Hopkins out there.
Yeah.
Horvath, 6 catches for 55 yards. I like seeing him getting some yak. That was nice to see him get some yak. Jared Sparks, 2 catches for 32 yards. He did have a big drop on a 3rd down with nobody around him.
Yeah.
TJ Sheffield got a catch late in the game, 1 catch for 10 yards, and Amon Anderson, 1 catch for 5 yards. So nice to see Sheffield get in the mix there a little bit this week. Malik Carr and Marshawn Rice are both injured. Jeff didn't really specify what the injury was or how long.
I kind of remember Malik Carr getting hit hard when he dropped one last week when he got hit hard, and I think he kind of limped off. I'm guessing he was just banged up.
On the defense side of the ball, DeMarcus Mitchell, we raved about him last week. He had seven tackles total, four assisted, 3 solo, and 1 sack this past week. He just flies around the field, makes plays, fun to watch. Derek Barnes also had 6 tackles, and so did Brendan Thieneman. Javon Alexander in his home state had 4 tackles, came out and had 4 tackles and an interception, which he had an interception at Northwestern last year. So he just must like playing in the state of Illinois. Simeon Smiley, 4 tackles. Corey Trice, 3 tackles. Who got our other
Derek Barnes.
Yeah.
Derek Barnes got
Derek
the other
Barnes.
interception. Yep. That's right to him. So
you had the big Detroit boy connection with Marvin Grant.
Marvin Grant hit and Jalen Graham scoop and score, which it's funny because I was yelling at Jalen Graham earlier in the game for the coach to take him out because he had 3 different penalties. 2 of them were on returns of interceptions, which was just ticking me off. But I'm glad they know what they're doing. I don't. I just coach from my couch.
Yeah.
But, of course, the big headline on defense was status of George Karlaftis was rolled up on in the second quarter. So it looks like an ankle, not sure. Brom said we should know more tomorrow about all the injuries. So fingers crossed. He looked okay after the game walking around. He was back on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope they actually say something tomorrow because has there been any disclosure on injuries this year?
He puts a blanket over them all.
Yeah.
I mean, he keeps everything ever since the staff's got here. Which keep things close to the vest, which I understand, but from a fan standpoint, is very frustrating.
Very hockey-esque. Because I think Rondale was ruled out with a lower body injury. It's like, okay, that's exactly what they do in hockey. It's never disclosed of what a hockey injury is, but whether it's just upper or lower body.
And I find it interesting. Adam Rittenberg, the senior writer for ESPN, always breaks those tweets about Rondale. And I'm not saying he's wrong or anything, but how's he getting more inside scoop than Mike Harmon, Brian Newbert, Tom Dienhart, those guys? I don't know. And maybe he is. Maybe he's got a really good source. I don't know, but still would love to know.
He was also the one. He was the one who said he'd be good to go for Illinois, and we know how that worked.
That's very true. Good point, Evan. One guy who did not have the greatest game was punter Brooks Cormier. He had 3 punts for 98 yards. Jeff did say today that the punting job is wide open, but then he kind of backtracked and said every position's wide open at all times. If somebody's not playing good, we have other guys ready to go in. So we could see Collins make a run at the punting job this week, possibly. So we shall see. Any other thoughts on the Illinois game before we get into the hopefully upcoming game?
What are your thoughts on the defense late in the game?
Thought they got very conservative. Soft, played a lot of prevents, and just didn't have the killer mentality. And Illinois was finding holes and taking advantage of it. I've never liked that.
Really frustrated with there were 2 times it was 3rd and 16, I think one of them might have been upwards of 3rd and 21, something like that, and we gave them up pretty easily. Yeah,
3rd and 19, I believe.
Yeah, 3rd and 19. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
Not a fan of that. So I was in the car and listening pretty much the entire time. I didn't get to watch any of it. I remember I felt like it was the first half. Illinois was moving the ball fairly well, but they were turning it over in the red zone. So I felt like Purdue was pretty fortunate even the first half. I know they opened it up in the second half, but that was partly because Illinois again turned it over on their own goal line. I don't know if that's – do you give that credit to the Purdue defense for forcing those turnovers? Is it Illinois with a 4-string quarterback?
Yeah.
I mean, we could say the same thing about Iowa. They're moving the ball. Purdue seems so far this year to get good, timely turnovers, and it's a bend, don't break defense, which that was Bob Yakov's defense at Louisiana Tech. I think it's something we're just have to get used to. Unfortunately,
it worries me just because if you don't have those turnovers, then Purdue's defense gives up a whole lot more points the last 2 games. And Purdue is 0-2.
Only been so far against Wisconsin when they're rushing for 1 billion yards on you. There's only so much you can do.
Assuming they have all their linemen and the running backs.
That's true.
Because without 12 guys or so, we have no idea what their team's going to look like.
We're over Minnesota, who's got another big line.
And really?
Minnesota's got the most trash defense in the league right now.
I mean, for Wisconsin scoring 45 points against Illinois, they only averaged 3.5 yards a carry.
They threw it a bunch.
Yeah,
they threw it 21 times. It's not like Purdue throwing it 50 times.
Well, for Wisconsin, 20. Well, okay,
that's
pretty average. Never mind.
They ran it 54 times, 182 yards. So it's not like they ran all over Illinois either. I mean, they were dominating in the air, but only had 248 yards passing.
The defense needs George Karlaftis out there. He's their difference maker. Without him, they couldn't get pressure. There was no pass rush. That's what concerns me the most is the lack of pass rush with the defensive line this year so far has been. So I think the linebackers play pretty good, and I think the defensive backs are playing pretty good. It's the defensive line's got me a little concerned so far.
Do you think if Karlaftis is out more than the Wisconsin game or something, do you think Barnes gets considered moved back to the end?
Shocked me.
Yeah. I feel like you kind of have to. I mean, we already do. I mean, like we show how they move Mitchell around so much. They move him around already so much. But if you put him and Barnes on the other side or something, but
Sullivan took all of Georgia's snaps when he was out Saturday, which he was fine. But we didn't get enough pass rush, which maybe they were accounting for the quarterback run. The guy was pretty mobile. So
yeah, he was.
I don't know, but we did have a Twitter question I wanted to get to before we move on. This is for boilerinTexas.com. We appreciate him putting in a question. That's back-to-back weeks. He's gave us a question, and for any listeners or viewers, if you ever want us to talk about anything in particular, just tweet at us or send us a message on Facebook, and we'll try to get to it. He says, thoughts on the difference in play calling between Jeff and Brian? The calls at the end of the Illinois game concerning ?
I was a little concerned. I was getting frustrated with the calls towards the end where it was very apparent that we needed to just burn clock. I think we ran 3 straight passing plays. And one of them was batted down and almost picked off.
It's like I like the aggressive mindset, but there's times like, Jeff, run the ball. We know you like throwing it, but run the ball.
I get that, but then there's also a difference when Illinois also knows you're going to run the ball too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Horvath has been great the last 2 games, but it's, I guess he did last week. I think also last week because we just ran it so much, we just wore them down. But this week, Illinois knew you were going to run the ball, and we should have run the ball because maybe he wasn't confident enough that we were going to be able to get the yards. And that, again, is maybe an indictment on. I don't know who it's an indictment on, but maybe just lack of confidence. But you got to do something there.
I just think I don't know, Purdue, the line, Purdue is talent-wise isn't like Wisconsin or Ohio State that we are going to run the ball and we are going to get 6 yards to carry. Maybe, but if Illinois knows is going to run the ball, I mean, maybe Braum feels like, the best chances we get 1 first down. Like they're at the end of the game, they needed 1 first down. He's like, I'm going to take my chances throwing it 3 times and we're going to get 10 yards versus running it once or twice. Yeah. And now it's 3rd and 7. And now I've got to hit on this 1 10-yard pass instead of I've got 3 chances, I guess, to get 10 yards at throwing it. I agree. I felt like they at least should have made them use their timeout because I think Illinois had 1 timeout left. And we threw it once. At least when they threw it on 2nd down, I was like, gosh, make him at least use that timeout.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't know. And then it worked out.
Yeah, I thought Jeff, it worked out, from a guy sitting on the couch, I thought he was a little rusty with some of his calls and just the flow of the game on Saturday. But when they needed it most, they looked for the one-on-one coverage to David Bell on 3rd down. And he made a miraculous play. I wish they would have took a couple more deep ball chances. I thought we could have really exposed them in that area. But at the end, they got it done, 31-24. A little too close for comfort for my liking, but hey, 2-0 for the first time since 2007, 2-0 in conference first time since 2010. So could be in a lot worse position. Could be in a position like Minnesota, 0-2. So, but moving on, before we move on to our hopeful game this weekend, the Boiler Breakdown is brought to you by Mad Mushroom. Mad Mushroom serving Boilermakers since 1993, and they're located in the heart of West Lafayette, and they're known as the home of the original cheese sticks. Whenever I visit, I like to sit down and have an ice-cold beer while trying out their latest pizza of the month. So next time you're in town, stop in and tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you for $5 off any order over $20. Also, any Boiler Breakdown listener can use the coupon code BREAK5, that's break in all caps, BREAK 5, to claim your discount online at madmushroom.com. Mad Mushroom, feed your head. And assuming we have a game this weekend, you better order yourself either some pizza, some cheese sticks, some grinders, some wings. How about all the above? Sounds good to me right now. All right, guys.
I'm hungry now.
I'm really hungry. Trip to Madison hopefully awaits our Boilermakers this weekend. Like I mentioned in the intro, this is a team that Purdue hasn't beaten since 2003. It's just been a thorn in their side. Besides the game 2 years ago in 2018, Purdue hasn't even been really that close. But I feel like if they're able to play, this is the year Purdue can end the streak.
Yep. No fans. Well,
third string, fourth string quarterback, potentially.
No fans. It's
fourth string, I guess, right?
Fourth string quarterback.
This is the time to do it.
Which I think, according to Brom, they would get ready for the fourth and fifth string. They'll get ready for them both. They don't want to be throwing a curveball.
What tape do you have on the first string quarterback?
Is he a walk-on? Is he even scholarship?
I have no idea.
Does Purdue have 5 scholarship quarterbacks? I think they probably do.
That was my thought. Was
Plummer, 3, Alimo, 4. Is there a 5th?
Well, Paferi was.
There was,
tight end now. 4, I guess.
So 4.
Still pretty deep.
Yeah,
but I gotta say we can't feel too bad for them because we were down to our fourth string quarterback last year due to injuries. So
and I was thinking that I was like, our fourth string quarterback turned out okay last year.
Because really Aiden was fourth string again because Nick Sipe and then Sipe had to retire due to back end issues.
They're on the team for a reason. So
Yep. So and like I said, if we can play, it's 3:30 ABC. It's the national game for the Big Ten this weekend. If we can get a win over Wisconsin 3-0, we might be ranked for the first time since 2007.
Are they 10? Are they ranked 10th?
They are 10th. Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, there's some big things on the line there. I just hope we get good news tomorrow that we're able to play, or at least as of tomorrow. I know things can change when we get closer to time, and who's to say, we might have some cases too. We don't know as of right now.
I know. Brom was very concerned. I mean, Illinois didn't have any until almost a week after the Wisconsin game.
And according to our good friend Josh Mott, who says he's not an Illinois fan,
but he texted a lot about it.
He said they only had 2 cases. It was contact tracing, but unfortunately, all those contact tracing guys are also going to be out this week against Minnesota. But the guys who have COVID are definitely out. So
21 days. Yeah.
So we will see. But no, I'm liking Purdue's chances. They do have Wisconsin as the favorites right now. I was surprised there's even a line out this early because they don't know if there's going to be a game. Don't even know who's going to be suiting up for Wisconsin if there is a game. So
I think the ESPN, like the predictor on the app, had it very much in Wisconsin's favor.
Yep. Oh, it's like 94% or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jeff Brom said he's hoping to have everybody back, but then he kind of backtracked when he was asked specifically about Rondell Moore. But that gives me optimism that we'll have King Doru back, Coyle back in the defense backfield, George, a couple other guys who might be banged up. So,
didn't Marvin Grant get hurt? Did he leave the last game? I thought I read that online that someone.
Somebody said that, but I don't remember. Unless he hurt his shoulder late or something. I don't know. He didn't play a ton Saturday, but when he did, he was really effective in there. The way he was hitting people. So we shall see. But let's go ahead and pick some Big Ten games. Let's see here. Who do we got? No Friday night games this week. Got number 23 Michigan coming off a horrendous loss at home to Michigan State, who got trounced by Rutgers. Good old Jimmy boy is now 1-6 against Michigan State and Ohio State at home.
Gosh, I hope this is a get-right game for them.
They are 3-point favorites on the road.
I've got 3.5, which surprises me.
Either way, I'm about to throw up when I read this here that Indiana's ranked 13th. Not a typo. They're ranked 13th.
Especially this year.
IU rankings in his top 10.
I think rankings this year are, especially for the Big Ten, are stupid.
I know. I was just looking at this. Did you see
the Pac-12 are back this week?
Yeah.
The
fact that you had like a Penn State all of a sudden just ranked 8th before they played a freaking game when everybody else had played 2-3 games was any rank.
Carolina's ranked 15th.
Yeah.
You told me that I would think we'd go
Cincinnati's 6th or something like that.
Cincinnati's good for
They're good, but still.
Who's 25th right now? Troy or something like that? Or somebody who's like Liberty.
And they're 15-point underdogs averaging it. When's the last time there's been somebody ranked and they're 15-point underdogs against an unranked team?
Against, like, Clemson.
Yeah.
But who are you taking, Indiana or Michigan? Is Indiana going to beat Michigan for the first time since 1987?
Absolutely not.
Dude, I'm scared.
No freaking way I can say that IU is going to beat a ranked Michigan and get into the top 10.
Michigan team that just lost to Michigan State.
Yeah, I know.
Who got?
I don't like it, but I really don't want to see that happen. So
I don't want to see it either, but I'm afraid it's going to.
Yeah, I don't feel good.
No.
I don't feel good at all.
They have. Oh no,
I can't do it. I gotta. I mean, this is a Purdue podcast. I'm gonna say Michigan. I'm scared to death. Oh my God! All the candy stripers are gonna. They're not gonna know what to do with themselves. Their one team's 13th in the nation. Their other team's ranked 4th up in Notre Dame. So they're losing out on top basketball players in the state. So now they're a football school. You know.
Yeah, true.
They're a football school now. They're forgetting about those dusty banners. So now they're a football school.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Go Blue. Come on, Jim. You lose this one, you deserve to get canned.
Was he wearing khakis this last game?
I don't know. If so, that was the problem.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Spartans, good win for Mel Tucker. Congratulations. Your first win, sir.
Well, that was – I saw he was the first Michigan State coach. Again, there probably hasn't been a ton to beat Michigan in his first season since Nick Saban.
Yep.
You can't beat Purdue.
I think John L. Smith and Antonio were like the only other two coaches between then.
There hasn't been many.
So the Spartans travel to Iowa to face an 0-2 Hawkeye team. The Hawkeyes are 6.5-point favorites.
I'm picking Iowa just because I want them to win.
I'm picking Iowa too.
Yeah.
This was Iowa was up 14 points on Northwestern.
I had no idea. I thought they won, and I checked the score on Sunday, and I was like, oh, no, they lost.
No. And Iowa's best wide receiver, Smith.
Marset or something.
Marset is out. Or I presume he's out. He got charged with the OWI after the game Saturday night. So I presume he's out. So that's not going to help Iowa's case. But I'm going with the Hawkeyes in a close one.
Yeah. I don't think they cover.
Andrew, pick
Iowa, but I think they cover.
Okay. Nebraska coming off a bye week that they didn't want, even though they tried to play a non-conference game. Big Ten vetoed that.
Oh my!
Stay in your lane, Nebraska. Stay in your lane. You've only been part of the conference for 8 or 9 years, and you're not.
Oh God, I love them saying that Wisconsin was ducking them by canceling the game. Wisconsin doesn't want to play Nebraska.
Idiots.
Nebraska is 17-40 in the Big Ten or something.
They're an embarrassment to the conference. Shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's it? Paul Feinbaum who went off on him?
I
don't agree with Paul Feinbaum. I don't like Paul Feinbaum, but man, blow off.
He was, yes. They traveled to Evanston to face 2-0 Wildcat team, and the Wildcats are 4-point favorites.
I think it's definitely a bounce back here for Northwestern. I mean, I'll take them.
Yeah, they're healthy, and Pat I always want to call him Patrick Ramsey. That played for the Washington football team.
Bad man.
Peyton Ramsey. He's been a difference maker for them, and I'm going Northwestern to cover.
Yep.
Agreed. Maryland at Penn State. Maryland coming off a good overtime win for them. One player against
right.
But Penn State's 0-2, but they're 24.5 favorites.
I've got 25.
Rounding up.
Yeah, we got 25 as well.
Who did Maryland lose to? Who did they lose to last week? Oh, no, they beat Minnesota. Huh?
Northwestern beating by 40 week one, and they beat Minnesota by a point in overtime. Big Ten in 2020, man.
Penn State. I don't think they cover.
Penn State's covering. They're pissed off. They're
they're covering.
They should be 1-1 right now. They're 0-2.
Well, go down when you have to.
Yeah, Penn State big.
Battle of 0-2 teams. Minnesota Golden Gophers, you hate to see it. At Illinois, and the Golden Gophers are 7.5-point favorites.
Minnesota by I don't know, 3 touchdowns.
Right?
Yeah,
you gotta think so. If not, pull the plug out of the rowboat. It's going down to the bottom. Minnesota's defense is trash, though. Their secondaries so far garbage. They gotta figure that out.
How's
what's do you think? Is this Fleck?
Bateman didn't have a touchdown yet. They scored 44 points last week, and he didn't score a touchdown.
No.
He's got 163 yards. That's like one game for David Bell. It's fine.
Yeah. I know it. Rondell, you need to get out there.
Yeah.
Your night game for the Big Tens.
I didn't pick.
Oh, sorry.
Minnesota to cover.
Well,
I'm really disappointed there's no line for this one.
I got a line. I got a line.
Oh, mine doesn't have a line.
Rutgers, who kind of came back down to earth this past week, even though they had a fantastic play that didn't count. They should have just counted it for the effort.
That was awesome.
Number 3, Ohio State, which I think we can all agree they're head and shoulders better than the rest of the conference. Buckeyes are 37-point.
I've got 38.
Who
cares?
What app are you using?
ESPN app.
Okay, I'm using the score.
Come on, ESPN.com. It doesn't have a line for me.
I'm trying to get that sponsorship from ESPN. Come on, man.
I like it.
I don't want that one.
I'm going Buckeyes, but I don't see them covering 37.
I think they do.
I think they do.
I
don't know.
Dogs and they win by 35.
So that point makes a difference, huh? That 37 versus 38.
Yep.
I don't know. I think Ohio State wins by 50.
I think it's like 52-10.
Yeah.
Before we get into Purdue's prediction, let's predict some top 25 games because those are always fun. Number 11.
I haven't watched anything because I haven't cared.
That's what makes it even more fun. Number 11, Miami, Florida at NC State Friday night.
Okay, I have watched the Miami game with my brother, and they did not impress me last weekend. I don't remember they played Virginia. Maybe.
Yeah, 2 weekends ago they barely squeaked out one against Virginia.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Virginia did beat North Carolina though last week. Well, I'm taking
pretty ugly.
Yeah, take Miami.
Yeah.
A really good late Friday night game. Number 9, BYU. They got a stud quarterback, but they haven't played anybody. 7-0, but they're at number 21, 2-0, Boise State.
So I'm looking at the stats here, and I'm just like, oh my god, the BYU quarterback has 19 touchdown passes in like 2 games. I was like, oh wait, no.
Stats, but they played Texas State and
I was just
Greenwood
thinking,
High School and a bunch of teams. So.
I was imagining like the Big Ten's only like week 3.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my god, how does he have 19 touchdown passes in 2 games?
So I'm thinking
7 games.
I'm taking the Broncos. They don't lose on the Smurf turf very often.
They are favorites. No, they're not. Sorry, BYU's favorites.
Are they allowing fans? What's the status for that conference?
No idea.
Does it matter? There's only if they do, it's like 5,000. Like it's. I don't know.
Boise State. Yeah.
I'm gonna go BYU to be different.
I'll jump around here. We won't go over all of these, but Arizona State at number 20 USC. Welcome back, Pac-12. You're finally having a season. Trojans are 11 points.
Pac-12 after dark. It's at what, like
noon?
9 a.m. their time.
It is.
Yeah.
Is that a typo?
No.
It's the Fox big game at noon.
I think Pat McAfee or somebody was talking about this last weekend that when the Pac-12 starts playing that they're going to have some 9 a.m. games.
Gosh, their parties. Well, it's COVID era. I guess you can't really party. Well,
California is shut down. There's nothing going on.
Arizona State's number 1 party school in the nation. So,
yeah. Oh, but the game's in LA.
Yeah, I know. I'm taking the Trojans.
Yeah.
I know. Give me Herm.
I like it. I don't know.
Herm.
I don't know anything
about them.
Hugh Freeze and his number 25 Liberty Flames. 15-point dogs at Virginia Tech.
What's Liberty's mascot? Looks like the Eagles. What is it?
Flames.
That's a bird.
But their logo is a bird.
Yeah.
If Josh was wrong earlier on the podcast,
hold on. Let's look it up.
With it.
They're out of Virginia, right?
I don't know. Yes, he's wrong because I thought he.
Sparky the Eagle. That's their mascot.
Nickname Liberty Flames.
All right. He was right. Good.
But their mascot is Sparky the Eagle because that makes sense.
They didn't want a flame as their mascot. I could see that. Give me Virginia Tech and they cover.
I think Virginia Tech, but I don't think they cover.
I'm gonna go opposite again. I'm gonna pick Liberty because
why not, right?
Yeah.
Do you see the line on this Marshall UMass game?
I don't have one.
It's 45.
Yeah, that's that. UMass is 0-1. Marshall's 5-0, ranked 16th.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. We are Marshall.
Yep.
West Virginia at number 22, Texas. Texas coming off a big overtime win over Oklahoma State. West Virginia had a big win. Killed a ranked Kansas State team. Texas is 7-point favorites. Hook 'em horns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Houston at the number 6 Cincinnati Bearcats.
13.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I got 13.
Who was I listening to? I was listening to 1070 Fan in Indy this morning, and they brought up if Harbaugh, if they just have a disastrous season and he leaves or does just well enough to get an NFL job, do you think they would go after Luke Fickell?
Michigan State tried. He turned him down.
I think he would turn down Michigan in a heartbeat.
He's an Ohio State dude, but I don't know, man. Michigan's a great job, but it's a lot of pressure too.
Yeah.
He's building something pretty nice there at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I think Marcus Freeman will go good job.
Yeah. I think Luke Fickell can hold out until like James Franklin leaves or something and get like a Penn State job.
Would that be any different than Michigan? That's also high pressure.
Well, you don't get ridiculed for losing to Ohio State every year.
Yeah, and you're not going to your arch rival school.
Yeah.
I'm taking Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kansas at number 19, Oklahoma. Kansas 0-6. West Miles times 9 there. Oklahoma's 36.5 point favorite.
38 on mine.
I think they win by 45.
Yeah.
It's ugly. Kansas is so bad. Like it's basketball season there. It's terrible. It's always basketball season there.
Do you know who they lost to this year?
They lost to Coast.
They lost
to
Carolina, Baylor,
Oklahoma
got blown
State,
out by West Virginia,
Kansas State.
They're not going to win a game, are they?
They've gotten blown out by everybody.
No, they're not going to win a game. They go Oklahoma, Texas, TCU, Texas Tech is all that's left.
Maybe Texas Tech, maybe.
So this next one's interesting. The world's largest cocktail party is what they call this game. You got number 8 Florida, number 5
Didn't they
Georgia.
change that? Didn't they change like the official wording of it to be PC or something like that? I don't know.
Calling it that. Georgia's 4-point favorites. We don't know who's going to play for Florida because half their team could be suspended because they got in a brawl against Missouri.
I
think their coach is going nuts. Dan Mullen keeps saying really stupid things, and he fired up the crowd, went in the tunnel, came back, fired them up again. I think the guy's going insane. I think Georgia pounds them.
I think Georgia,
yeah.
We'll do 3 more here. Number 7, Texas A&M at South Carolina. A&M's an 8.5 point favorite.
I know nothing, so yeah, I'm gonna go with A&M.
They've played good ball except against Alabama this year, but that a lot of teams.
Who's their coach?
Jimbo Fisher getting paid $100 million.
Right, yeah, $100 million man. Yep.
Give me Wes Muschamp and the Gamecocks in the upset.
Okay.
Wow.
He's got to do something. He's on the hot seat. He's got to do something.
I am surprised by I'm assuming you're getting to this game here in a second, Tan. You just keep going.
Stanford at number 12, Oregon. Oregon's 10.5 point favorites.
Oregon.
Yeah, I think Mario Cristobal's got a good team out there this year. David Shaw should have left for the NFL a long time ago, and now he's lost the chance. The game of the week this week, number 1, Clemson without Trevor Lawrence at number 4, Notre Dame. The line is down to 6. It was at 6.5 earlier today.
I've got 5.5.
Ooh.
I totally forgot. What's the ACC's stance with?
It's 10 days, but he must be sick. I mean, he must be showing some more. I don't know. It was weird because they thought he could play. They thought he could be good by Friday or next Saturday. And then after the game, Dabo came out Saturday after their close win against Boston College, said he's not playing. So I don't know. Their freshman looked all right against Boston College. He put up good stats. It'll be interesting. This is a really good run offense in Notre Dame against an extremely good run defense in Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
The winner's got the driver's seat in ACC. We could see a potential rematch in the ACC championship.
Yeah. Can you imagine how miserable Saturday will be if Notre Dame and IU win?
Yes, I can. I've already thought about it. It's awful.
Yeah.
If Notre Dame wins and runs the table, beats North Carolina, runs the table, gets the ACC championship game, Clemson runs the table, gets there with Trevor Lawrence, and Clemson beats them, then we're in a weird predicament where do 2 one-loss ACC programs get in the playoff?
I think you'd see, unless, I mean, it'd be hard to keep Ohio State out, but I could very well see 2 ACC, 2 SEC. I don't know.
Ohio State would be mad, especially if they played.
Oh yeah. So if Ohio State runs the table, you can't keep them out. But if they slip up against somebody,
who would they slip up against?
They slipped up against us. So.
I don't think you can take a undefeated Pac-12 team against a one-loss Notre Dame team who lost to Clemson.
No.
Unfortunately.
No. I think Notre Dame wins, to be honest with you. I think they're going to win.
Look,
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I would rather.
I don't like it.
I think I would rather Notre Dame beat Clemson without Trevor Lawrence than IU beat Michigan.
I would 100% agree.
I hate them both.
And I hate that we're getting to that point because before I wouldn't care.
I don't know, guys. Like, at least I don't have to hear it much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, seriously. I don't know many Notre Dame fans, fortunately.
Yeah. I just hope Clemson kills them. I think Clemson by single digits, though. I think it's close.
I'm kind of with Webby.
Last time Notre Dame's won a big game, like a Clemson, Alabama, like it's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have some fans there, so that could help. I just think just the Trevor. I mean, I guess they get how soon was he ruled out for this last game? Did the kid get a full week of reps with the ones, or?
They said they've been splitting reps and practice all year long just in case.
Okay.
Which is smart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, there was that one picture, like when they started practicing, like Trevor Lawrence had his own freaking field to himself.
Oh my God. Yeah. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. I just think without him, I don't feel confident with Clemson. I'm probably not going to watch a second of it, but just because I'll be afraid to.
I'm disappointed, even though I think it's really cool that game day is going to be at Augusta next Saturday. I think that's cool with the Masters Week and all. But I'm also disappointed because if we win, Northwestern wins. Undefeated match under the lights next week.
This is such an underwhelming, just at face value. Purdue Northwestern game day. God, that'd be at face value. That's just so funny.
I was thinking about that. So if you said if Purdue and Northwestern win, there are 4 I guess not counting Wisconsin because they're 1-0, but there's 4 undefeated teams in the Big Ten right now. Purdue, IU, Ohio State, Northwestern. It's like 3 of those teams don't belong.
Yeah, you're right. Ohio State, Northwestern, Indiana. So
there was some tweet I saw that was the only remaining undefeated teams in the Big Ten are the ones who are closest to Indianapolis. Should there be a bubble? Kevin Warren's been planning this the whole time.
He was there in person at the Purdue game.
He should have fired the refs at halftime.
Why was he there?
I don't know.
I mean, you're not too far from Chicago, where the headquarters are. So,
but the game next week against Northwestern, not getting too far ahead of ourselves, is at night, 7:30 Big Ten Network. That's 3 of the last 4 years we've had night games against Northwestern, so kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's right.
Say Wisconsin can't play this weekend and they can't play next week against Michigan. The Wisconsin-Michigan game next week, 7:30 ABC. I wonder if Purdue Northwestern gets switched from Big Ten Network to ABC. I don't know. They switched the Rutgers Indiana game from Big Ten Network to Fox Sports 1.
Yeah,
that's not cabled national. I don't know.
I think it'd be hard to pull, especially those 2 programs, regardless of where the records are at. Those are.
I don't know I didn't know if there's some a contract.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With the conference,
so ABC's not going to go Saturday without a Saturday night game.
Yeah,
I don't know. It'd be interesting. Maybe the nation just wants to see David Bell. Maybe Rondell Moore.
Maybe Rondell makes. Maybe that's how they get Rondell to come back. His coming out party, national TV night game.
He have a pretty good national TV night game against Northwestern in his first game in Purdue.
I remember that.
Maybe the stars are lining up. So,
but that would mean that Purdue doesn't play this week.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. So before we get into our last segment of the show, Webb's Family Pharmacy is an independently owned community pharmacy with stores located in Rochester, Akron, and North Manchester, Indiana. Webb's is happy to announce that they are providing flu shots by appointment right in your car. Simply call to set an appointment, and their friendly and caring staff will be happy to help you. For all of your high-quality medical equipment, supplies, and pharmacy services, check out www.webrx.com or give them a call. Webb's Family Pharmacy, the professional pharmacy with hometown touch. Boiler owned. All right. Who wants to take over this spot?
Hey, you started out.
Well, we kind of hinted last Monday. Was it last Monday we recorded? Last Sunday?
Sunday?
Whenever our last episode was, that we were hoping Purdue was going to get some good news on the basketball recruiting front. And as the week progressed, we got more signs that might be coming. And then Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, we got the good news that 4-star forward, number 1 ranked player in Indiana,
Trey Kaufman. On the site you look at.
What?
Number 1 or number 2.
Yeah, number 1 or number 2. Trey Kaufman has decided
we got them both, to
join the Purdue basketball recruiting class of 2021, joining Caleb First, who is also number 1 or number 2, depending on what site you follow. So Matt Pater strikes gold on 1 and 2, and Archie strikes out on both. Very excited about this, Evan. I know you were saying really from the get-go, you kind of wanted Kaufman over first.
Yeah.
We got them both.
Yeah, it's back when, I mean, it really is, but even before March, March when first committed, it was they're both kind of very similar positions. I mean, obviously, I think you could see Kaufman had probably more chances of becoming more of like a stretch forward compared to First, who was just definitely a back to the basket kind of kid. But I liked Kaufman just because of his versatility. He was, at the time, I think First was in the 30s and Kaufman was well down in the 80s. And then Kaufman had a hell of a summer when the pandemic hit, and he just went to work. And I mean, even with his limited summer with AAU, he absolutely dominated. And even when you had the whole battle of the brands between Indiana Elite with Kaufman and a few other high caliber kids against Indy Heat with First and Blake Wesley and a few other, Luke Goody, who's going to Illinois. And I mean, Indiana Elite just dominated them. I know First didn't really get much, didn't get a whole lot of looks as AAU. Doesn't really fit his game. But I mean, Indiana Elite dominated. And Kaufman just soared up in the rankings on all sorts of sites, and he really kind of expanded his game, which I think really ended up, if you listen to Brian Newberg of Golden Black, he definitely talked about how definitely the summer allowed, probably because it allowed Painter to reevaluate kind of how they were going to look at both, and probably what prompted him to be able to allowed him to keep going after him and kind of reference the whole, Vince Edwards, Biggie, when we had them, they both probably were more of a 4. They both probably came to play a 4, but given the circumstances, Vince playing the 3, Biggie playing the 4, or even Biggie playing the 5, Vince playing the 4, it really worked out. We won a lot of games with it, and hopefully we can do the same with both of these guys.
I mean, it's kind of like when Swanigan committed to Purdue. I mean, most like Michigan State, other schools wanted Big E as a 5, and he knew that getting to the NBA, he's not going to be a center in the NBA. Right. He wanted to go somewhere, so that's why going to Purdue, where they had Isaac Haas, AJ Hammonds, he was not going to be a 5.
But we ended up playing the same thing. But we ended up being the best when he was the 5, which is the fun thing. But it's the same thing. Yeah.
But now it's with Kaufman, who can play 3, 4, 5. First, who's probably more a 4 or a 5.
Yeah.
Can't really step out to the 3, but Kaufman expanding this summer and being more athletic, becoming a better shooter, a little more of a I'm not sure he's a great ball handler, but I'm sure he's a pretty good ball handler for being 6'9" or something.
Yeah, I mean, the comparison gets thrown around a lot, and I mean, you can see it as Vince Edwards, and I think Vince was definitely this point in his career. As a junior coming out of high school, he was much more polished with his guard skills and shooting probably than Kaufman is. Well, I guess he's going to be. He's a senior now. That's right.
About to start his senior season.
Yeah,
he's only a year away from playing with Purdue. Webby,
I know. I'm just saying, coming out of his junior year. But yeah, I mean, it was a wild ride. That whole last week was
a very odd
couple
days.
Yeah.
You want to touch on that, Webby?
I mean, it was a whole. I mean, if you follow Golden Black, there was on the message boards, he was set to announce on Friday
night
at Jefferson. PM. Yeah, Jefferson High School. He was going to do a radio show with his childhood friend, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing to do.
That studio is sick, by the way. They got that high school. That's
I didn't see the video. I listened to it. Yeah, people were asking because he goes to Silver Creek in Sellersburg, and apparently people were saying that everybody in the area goes to Jeffersonville because the studio is incredible. He was going to do an announcement, do a video, the whole thing. You see kids do nowadays. But I think it was Thursday night. From what I saw on the boards, talk about luck. I saw a guy who, because there was a link that you could listen to, and he had sent it to his son, and his son, just to see if the link worked, opened up the link, and happened to be right. You could hear Kaufman and his friend talking about how he was committing to Purdue, and they did the whole entire show, I think. So that got leaked out, and it was just a whole is this real? Is this some sort of joke? If it was a prank, kudos. That's one hell of a prank if it was true, but it made sense thinking about it, why they would pre-record it.
Absolutely,
especially because I think someone brought up he was supposed to do Friday night at 6 p.m.
You're not going to go back into the high school after school hours and do that.
No, but even that, local high school football that's going around, that's probably you're probably using the studio for that.
Yeah, true.
There's the whole thing, especially the fact that he wasn't going to a certain school. People were probably going to camp out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And that would have been
speaking of, did you see all the pictures of the people in
signs and stuff?
Begging, the signs around town, begging him to commit to IU.
Yep. It's beautiful. Painter did something Purdue never does. Go right into IU's backyard of Southern Indiana and get somebody.
Not only them, but it was them, Louisville, and Kentucky. It was all
for
that.
Whatever reason, Louisville was out to begin with. I don't know what happened there, but
wasn't there a rumor that Kaufman in that interview that wasn't supposed to be live Thursday that he said that IU was out a year ago?
There was a rumor. It wasn't on the YouTube one, at least. He talked about each program, what they meant and everything. And when Purdue came up, it pretty much said they have the style that fits him the best.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. He had every reason to go to Indiana. It was closer home. They recruited him probably the hardest, out of anybody.
And I would say that also, he's kind of could be a clone of a Trace Jackson Davis. So
I think they're very different. But
Trace won't be there next year.
No, he won't.
That's what I mean.
He would step into that role immediately.
Yeah,
he was probably going to get, because that was one thing he kept talking about. He wanted immediate playing time, which. At Purdue, it's not guaranteed because, we've got a year to see what, again, what Aaron Wheeler can do, what Mason Gillis can do at the 4. So nothing's guaranteed. Whereas if he went there, if Trace is going to the NBA, he'll probably be a potential lottery pick. He's on a lot of Player of the Year watch lists. So he's probably gone, barring an injury or anything like that. So, it was primed for him to step in right away. But yeah, I think for him, you hear it a lot with recruits, but it doesn't really follow through. As when they talk about best fit, they don't always go to the best fit school, and this one did, and it worked out.
Yep. More times than not, it seems like Purdue comes up on the short end of a player that recruited the hardest the whole time, and this time it paid off. And it's just great to see that they've built a great class in 2021, and everybody, barring any injury, losing somebody to injury or losing somebody to transfer or something, we should have this whole roster back next year, in addition to Caleb First and Trey Kaufman. It's hard not to look ahead to 2021-22 and get very excited for what could be potentially top to bottom about the most talented Purdue roster we've ever seen.
But do you think there'll be other teams do you think college basketball is just going to be stupid deep next year just because of this free kind of year? You get guys that they're really good college players like an Isaac Haas who really good college player doesn't has a chance in the NBA but really wasn't he's going to be undrafted.
I'm thinking of what's it? The guard for Iowa.
Shooter guy, Bannon or
Bohannon. If he's not on any draft boards, if he comes back, he could be one of those guys who comes back and just lights it up. And I would love to have Dakota Mathias back for another year.
Absolutely. We could see a lot of that. I think we might be surprised how many kids just decide to graduate when they were supposed to. Anyway. Help with all the scholarship numbers because it's going to be a headache it's not going to get played out for another 4 years till everything's back on track. Hopefully.
And then if you throw in the fact that this whole, one-time waiver recruit or transfer thing happens, it's going to be just. I mean, I know like even Painter's talking about he'll probably oversign or look to.
Well, like because like what you just listed. Okay, so Wheeler, Gillis, first Kaufman.
Yeah, Williams. Yeah.
I'm just thinking guys that would play could play the 4. I mean, Williams is going to play he can't play the 4. I mean, he's going to be the 5. But those guys right there.
You throw him and Edey in there. I mean, you never know. That'd be a bad idea. But
it's going to be wild.
But I mean, just of that, like there's someone's not going to want to play or want to sit there. Maybe not. I don't know. Or it's not going to work out and someone's going to choose to do something else.
It is going to be wild, but we're only 23 days away from Boilermaker basketball, but we don't know the freaking schedule or the Big Ten. We don't know anything about the Big Ten schedule.
We did get
crazy.
They did announce the Big Ten ACC matchups.
That's true.
This last week and taking our talents to South Beach.
Yeah. It's fine. I mean, we haven't played there yet, but we have played against them. And I know when you do this challenge enough for so many years, you're going to play against teams all the time. I like new, fresh matchups. I want to
play them. And
who were you hoping for?
I thought that'd be neat.
Yeah.
Just somebody like that. Where actually, if the Crossroads wasn't going to happen, I wanted Notre Dame and Mackey, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. Or even up at Notre Dame, that would have been cool. But I think the Crossroads is going to happen. I think it's going to be the last year. So, unfortunately, I don't think we'll have fans, but I think it'll be the last year. So, but
who do we have in that this year? Is it
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame, yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. So, and the only recurring sponsor of the Boiler Breakdown podcast is Schroff Landscaping Nurseries. Schroff Landscaping has been in business for over 50 years and can handle all of your landscaping needs, including landscape design, maintenance, irrigation, hardscaping, fall cleanup, and they are licensed lawn applicators. Contact them today for all of your landscaping needs at 574-223-2769. Schroff Landscaping, design with you in mind. All right, fellas, any closing thoughts before we wrap this episode up?
A hell of a weekend.
Besides your
Friday's
Bears.
commitment. What?
Besides your Bears. Or your White Sox hiring LaRusso, but sorry, we'll just you said
Renteria is up for manager of the year in the AL, and they freaking fired him.
they even tweeted about it. How embarrassing.
Which honestly, that was expected. It was like people, especially like these people I follow, that are pretty avid fans, they were talking about how it was probably going to be he was kind of a placeholder until they got who they wanted with, but I don't. Oh my god!
Yeah,
Russo like retired.
We can produce sports.
Yeah, I heard someone on the radio today. It was like they were asking if Tony La Russa would have pulled Snell in the World Series, and he goes, "Well, his first question was, wait, can you say that again? Can you speak up?" Because he's like 800 years old.
They're living in 1980, so it's all good.
I think honestly, it's because the Sox fired him in the 80s. Hawk Harrelson fired him when he was the GM, and I think this is just Jerry Reinsdorf's way of apologizing to him for some stupid reason. I don't know. But yeah, the Bears don't have an offensive line and they don't have a quarterback.
Kind of a problem.
A little bit.
Good for Drew Brees yesterday, but
he did not look great.
It's got to be his last year.
Yeah. He was getting hit though. He was getting hit.
Fine. What was wrong with him?
He was getting hit. He wasn't making some.
He has none of his wide receivers.
I know.
He was getting hit too. They were
Thomas loser. Michael Thomas,
yeah,
loser. Sanders will be back next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, great weekend for Purdue basketball and football alike. Hopefully we keep the momentum rolling. Hopefully we get a game up at Camp Randall this weekend. We can finally end that horrible losing streak that dates back to 2003 against the Badgers and get this thing.
I'm in trouble.
Honestly, yeah.
Harry Webb says there's nothing wrong with being old. That's true. I wasn't saying anything with that. So, hey, hopefully it works out for the White Sox.
I hope so too. For like 2 years before I don't know.
Is a head scratcher there, but
yeah.
Hopefully we go up and beat these Badgers because I am so sick of losing to them. Assuming we have a game.
I thought 2 years ago was the year.
It should have been the year. 2 years ago.
That was it.
So let's boiler up, hammer down, and beat the Badgers if there's a game.
Yes, sir.